Hello again and welcome back to our course on PSE 15. In this section we're going to look at styles and effects in a little more detail. The first thing I want to do is to look at effects. I'm back to one of our very familiar images here, just to point out that this image has two layers. I've got the original background layer where the visibility is off and a background copy where it's on. And I'm going to apply an effect. So I bring up the effects panel, and the effect I'm going to apply is that one, watercolor painting. Now it's very interesting if you watch this going through yourself. I won't leave it all showing because it takes a little while, but as it builds up this effect, it does it with a number of steps. It applies a filter, and then we have the watercolor effect on the whole image. If I go to the layers panel, you can see that it's actually applied three separate layers in order to achieve that effect. Exactly how each effect is achieved will of course depend on the specific effect. But let me go back to the effects panel. The effects are categorized, and it's a really good idea to go through these, try each of them out, and once you've got an idea of how each effect looks, you may well think of opportunities for it in the future where it will help you with your images. Let me put this particular image back to its starting point. If instead of applying an effect I apply a style, note the range of available styles. For instance, photographic effects. One of the styles is orange gradient. That's fine. But if I choose a different style, such as a drop shadow, click on drop shadow, this doesn't work at all in this situation because I have a whole image and there's nowhere for the shadow to go. If the canvas were bigger than the image, then the shadow could show on the canvas, but as the message there says, the canvas size is smaller to or equal to layer size, hence the style may not be visible completely. Well, it's not visible at all. If I switch to a different image though, this one, where I've copied the sheep onto a new blank image and apply drop shadow, then you can see the drop shadow. So when it comes to styles and effects, although there's a very wide range available, and they can be applied to whole images or to selections copied from images, to individual layers, to several layers and so on, whether they work or not depends very much on the style or effect and very much on what you're trying to apply it to. When we've applied a style to a layer, as I have done here, you can see a little FX icon on the layer in the layers panel. That indicates that there is a layer style applied. And if you go to the layer menu, one of the options there, layer style, gives you a number of options. One of them is to hide all effects. So just temporarily switch everything off so you can see the layer without any styles or effects. But you can also go to style settings. Now in this particular layer and this particular style we've applied drop shadow, the settings include the size of the drop shadow. Note me increasing it there, decreasing it. The distance of the drop shadow from the sheep. The opacity of the drop shadow, and also the lighting angle, so I can effectively move the shadow around by changing the lighting angle. Note the option there to reset, and of course which settings you've got depends on the particular layer style that you've applied. It's also worth remembering that layer styles are cumulative, so you can basically apply as many as you like. If I go back to the styles panel here, within the categories you can, if you like, choose one from each of these categories and apply them all to that same sheep. I'm not quite sure what sort of effect you'd get if you'd applied one from each category, but they are cumulative and you can apply more than one if you want to. And a couple of other points here. If you want to copy a particular style, if you go to layer style, there's an option there, copy layer style. You could then apply that to a different layer if you set up a style that you particularly like, and you also have the option to clear a layer style. So if I wanted to remove the layer style from this particular layer, click on Clear Layer Style, and it's back to being just a regular layer again with no FX icon indicating a layer style. That's almost it on styles and effects. I've just got two other things to cover. One of them is, don't forget, in quick mode, we looked at the effects panel very early on in the course, and that is a very, very good facility now in PSE 15 because you can see the effects all previewed against, in this case, the specific image that I'm working on. If I, for instance, chose the lithograph effect there, that looks great. Let me go back into expert mode. And there is, of course, a layer there for the effect that's been applied, including a layer mask. So once again, the use of quick mode gives you a quick result, but also leaves it open for you to go into that in expert mode and fine-tune the result more if you need to. For now, that's it on styles and effects. I'll see you in the next section.